Welcome to this week's episode of The Savvy Author. I am your host, Clara Rose. If you have been with us before, welcome back, my friend. If you have not been with us before, let me be the first one to welcome you to the show. Every week, we talk about the 3 phases of book creation, or a piece related to the 3 phases of book creation. So I like to just recap those briefly at the beginning of every show so you know what to expect. We talk about the first phase, which is the brainstorm and blueprint. So all the things that happen in this phase are the analyzing so that we get the right book created, the brainstorming so we capture all of those ideas that are floating around in your head or your notebook or on little scraps of paper someplace, and then blueprinting them into an outline so you have a structure to follow as you actually write your book. And then phase 2, of course, is create and correct. So this is where we write, actually putting words on paper, getting the work done. And then editing, of course, because everybody needs an editor. Even editors have editors, in fact. And then formatting, which is just getting it ready to publish, getting in a format that it can be published. And then finally, the publish and promote stage, which is the most exciting, of course, and the most fun. And that's once we understand our publishing options, we put together a promotion package so that we're getting the word out and people know that the book even exists, and then selling, an ongoing plan, of course, for sales, because that is the point, right? We create a book so we can make a difference in the world around us and get our book out there. So today we're actually going to do just a small piece, a little bit of the publish and promote section. And that really is just getting the word out. And that's what today is about, is getting the word out about one of my authors. Now, they're not always one of my authors. Sometimes they're an author that didn't have anything done by my company, Rosedale Publishing, but most of the time I've had something to do with it. Today I have a special guest just for you, and I'm super excited to have her on the show. She has actually been on the show previously because she is one of my authors. She is Amy Debrucque. She is a confidence coach and an author, and I am super excited to have her with me here today to talk about this journey from an unpublished author to where she is today. So help me welcome my client and really dear friend, Amy Debrucque. Are you with me? There you are. Welcome.
I am. Welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so glad you could take some time out of your, what I know is a crazy busy schedule, to be on the show. Now, when you were last on the show, you were talking about Emboldened, which was your first published, it's a magazine style book, right?
Yes. Well, there's 2. So since the first time when I was on the show and you had me promoting it, this was the first one. This is the magazine style. It's, beautiful. It's oversized, considered more of like a luxury, I feel like, version of it. And then since that time, we created something that was a little more of a grab and go. So this is a smaller, same content inside, but just more of something you can stick in your purse, you can bring in the car with you, take to a friend's or Bible study, wherever you want. Travel with it. It's a little bit more user-friendly to bring places than the other one.
Sure. So this is not actually the first book that we did together. We've done a couple of things together, but this one actually kind of came out of the launch that happened aside from your book, right? So you started off creating a book, but it turned into something so much bigger and so much more. So just if you'll take a couple minutes, tell our viewers about the journey. So it started as an idea that you wanted to get your message out to the world to make a difference in the world around you, but something else happened. Talk us through that journey.
So interestingly enough, and I think that's how things normally happen, these accidental but not so accidental occurrences, is I reached out to you. I had seen you on social media, what you had to offer, and I thought, I'll just play around with this and see where it goes. And so I had a completely other manuscript that you and I had been working on, and then just a side direction where I felt like I really needed to create this book Embolden. I did it with my oldest daughter. And from that, the feedback from Embolden turned into something else entirely different, which was just really more one-on-one connection with women. And how can I take it a step further and encourage women in confidence and show them what that looks like and all of that. And so from that journey of the books and Embolden and speaking and all of that created, really inspired me more so to level up. And so I took a life coaching certificate. So between my expertise and the anxiety and the journey that led to creating Embolden, then I wanted to have additional tools and resources to really help women one-on-one discover their own inner confidence and how they can really achieve their goals.
Now, you didn't tell this part, so back up just a little bit and talk about your journey with finding your own confidence, right? So a couple of things happened in your life that kind of took you down a spiral, if you will, and having fear and anxiety and some of those things. So talk a little bit about that, how you ended up there.
Sure. So in my mid-20s, I had two major events that really kind of catapulted, I feel like dormant anxiety is what I call it. And I had my oldest brother and my firstborn son passed away, unrelated, within 16 days of each other. And so those two events really spiraled anxiety for me at a whole new level, nothing that I had experienced before. So learning and living with anxiety and how to navigate that, and that whole process really kind of came to crossroads at age 40, which is 11 years ago, when I received a cancer diagnosis. So it was in that moment that I really, I felt like I could go in one or two directions. I could keep living in fear of all the what ifs that could happen based off of those two events, or I could move ahead with confidence. And so I did the latter of the two. And really, that's that whole process, and what I learned and the methods that worked for me are things that I just feel so passionate about wanting to share with other women, because I don't want them to have to struggle for the length that I did based off of those fears.
Because it really took you some time to develop the tools, right? To cope with those anxieties. It's not a quick fix, right? When you struggle with those kinds of things, you didn't just go, oh, I'm not going to do that, and you stopped, right?
Absolutely not. I'm glad you said that, because there is no magic fix. There's no quick fix. It's now one and done. For me, even now, it's a daily surrender. It's something that I know that I have the potential to, really tap into anxiety if I let it. But now I have the skills and tools. And like you said, that was a process. That was something, and it's something that I still do, but it's a discipline now. And so I want to teach that same discipline and those same tools and methods to other women, to know that you can make that daily surrender. You can make that daily choice. Sometimes it is not easy, depending on the day and the circumstances that we're presented with. But if you have these kind of in your tool belt, I feel like you have the ability to be more successful. You're not going to bypass anxiety the rest of your life, or or just always automatically feel like, oh, I'm totally confident for this, whatever's happening next.
I'm good forever.
Good forever. But I do think that, my goal is I help women clarify their goals now, like coaching with them one-on-one. And we identify the obstacles that have been holding them back. And then I give them the strategies to overcome those obstacles. And so, there's fear in so many different aspects of life, right? There's fear of change. There's fear of failure, rejection, loneliness, uncertainty. All those things are common that hold women back. And so it's just a matter of tapping into those things and showing and teaching what I've learned along the way to help them, like I said, really kind of expedite that process and not being in that holding for so long.
Wondering what to do and how to get out of the mess, the mire. Yeah. I love that you said surrender your fear, because that brings up another point that I didn't want to forget to talk about. You actually have a podcast, right? And you have a group of women who kind of have rallied around each other and around this. I see your podcast and I get your newsletter, and it's wonderful encouragement. I love getting it. Weekly, just a little something that says, hey, here's what you might be feeling, what you might be going through, and here's some encouragement. So talk with us about surrender your fear. How did all of that start?
Well, again, that was a total taking a brave step. One of those moments where we just have to kind of almost push ourselves out of our comfort zone, especially if it's not that innate, feeling of where we want to do that. And so for me, the podcast really kind of, again, started with fear, but sometimes you just have to step into it. And the one thing about Life on Purpose that I love is that it speaks into all women. I think that we all have similar issues. And one of the great things about it is I try to tackle a common or relevant problem that we're all facing and a solution. Because sometimes I think we can get caught in that hamster wheel. And even though we all have the ability to come up with a solution, sometimes we just can't get out of our own way. And I'm talking from experience. I was a professional overthinker, and when my anxiety was,
I like you.
That's right. When my anxiety was at an all-time high, you don't have the discernment, you don't have the ability at that time to problem solve and really focus on reasoning. And so that's the one thing I love about the podcast is it brings somebody else in the conversation where we're both sharing the same idea, the same thing, but we're tackling one problem and offering a strategy or a solution to overcome that.
I love that. I have a current author that I'm working with that she talks all the time about shared experiences. And this is just one more example of how we just have shared experiences, right? We all have those moments of insecurity, those moments of, anxiety. Even if it's not crippling, we all experience it to a certain extent, so we can all relate. The difference is if it's crippling you, right? If you're stuck because you can't get out of your head, right? You're ruminating over something, you can't let it go. That's when it's time to call somebody, to take a course, take a class, find a whatever. And confidence can be elusive to all of us at times. So I love that you became a confidence coach, that you're taking this knowledge that you gained painfully and slowly, over some years, and just making it into something where you can truly make a difference in the lives of other women by helping them speed up that process. I love that. Now,
thank you. And one of the things I love about the whole coaching aspect is, I kind of view, and I think I've shared this with you before, Clara, working with a coach is like, bowling with bumpers. Yes. The bumpers up on the sides. And, the bumpers are just the coach. We're just guiding you toward your goals before, when you start to get off track, and then just bringing you back to where you need to reach those goals, because we all want to reach our goals, but sometimes you just need the right person alongside you to kind of help you stay in your lane, so to speak.
Right. Stay in your own lane. Those bumpers don't help. Well, and it's super important at the very beginning to have somebody to help you establish those patterns, right? Give you those tools, establish some of those patterns, and then, coach you along the way, because it's not an overnight thing. It's not a quick fix. Like you said, it's a journey. It's a process. So having those bumpers there is having that person where you can, call and say, Amy, I need you. Right? And we all need coaches. So this has always made me crazy. I don't know why this is true, but we don't even bat an eye about hiring, if you're in a sport, about hiring a coach for that. People don't even bat an eye. Like, oh, that's my, baseball coach or my whatever, right? We don't think anything of having a coach for that. But when you start talking about other things, like, oh, do I need a coach for that? Well, yeah. If it's outside of your wheelhouse, yeah.
Right.
If you don't know how to do this, get a book done, hire a coach. Hire somebody who does know. If you're struggling with anxiety and lack of confidence, find a confidence coach, somebody to help you through the process. Not sure why we struggle so much with that, but I'm here to say let's normalize hiring a coach. Get
Absolutely.
to help yourself out. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I love that analogy about the bumpers. And when you said that to me recently, I thought, oh, that is a beautiful imagery. And I almost made a slide and everything for it so people could see that. Seeing it's not just a guide, but it's a protectant. That's not even the right word. It's a safeguard. Maybe that's a better word. So that if you do veer toward the bumper, you can ride the bumper to the end, right? You're not going to get derailed because you have that safeguard in place. I think that's the beautiful thing about what you're offering. Now, I happen to know that you have more than one way that people can work with you. So talk through what their options are. If someone says, yes, I think Amy is going to help me, how can people work with you?
Sure. Well, first, let me just go and address your point to, I think, why people hesitate so much when you're talking about a life coach or a confidence coach or a coach for a personal need. And I think as women, we feel guilty, right? We are very quick to hire out for maybe our kids or something else or something that we feel like is more justifiable. But really, in reality, whatever it is that is your dream, and maybe it is to write your book and you need somebody to walk alongside you. Maybe it's to get the confidence to start writing a book, and you need to hire a coach for that. Our investing in ourselves is such an important task. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that quickly. But as far as the coaching with me one-on-one, there's a few different options. I have some packages. One's a 5-week Kickstart to Confidence. One's a 12-week, which is a complete guide to confidence. Plus, I have just one-on-one, and where it's really unique to the individual. And sometimes it's just a matter of meeting with somebody a couple of times to get them over the hump for something that they need. And so there's definitely some options. And, there's different ways to access that if you want to figure it out. I have free discovery calls available. You can go to my website, and on my homepage, there's a quiz pretty much right under my photo there. There's a huge quiz. You can't miss it. And there's also on my homepage a direct link right to the coaching page. So either one, I would say, but take the quiz first, find out. The quiz is a confidence quiz. It's just a matter of finding out where your level at is today. And a lot of times we kind of just go through the motion and we don't want to know, but it's really important to know, because I think once you know, then you have the ability to make those decisions for yourself. And, maybe I really do need to make a change here finally, or you have known, but maybe now's the time. And so it's always good to just have somebody walk alongside you, like you were saying with the analogy of the bumpers, just as that guide. So you're not totally derailing and then just saying, you know what, it wasn't worth me taking this risk. But if you have somebody that you're working with, it's like, you're going to make mistakes. Nothing's going to be perfect, even when you're working with a coach, but they're going to keep you motivated. They're going to keep you on task, because they're going to try to keep reaffirming your goals to you. And so I think it's really important to be able to do that.
And that's what you guys do right up front, right? Talk about what are your goals? What do you want to get out of this? Where, what would you like to see transformation-wise happen, so that you can help them stay on track and stay focused and say, okay, that this tool isn't working as well, let's try this tool. So someone to just safeguard you a little bit. Now, I know that you do also have a digital program, and they can certainly chat with you about that. If you're one of those people who, doesn't want the one-on-one, they just want the information, and there's a few people out there like that. That's also an option for you. I don't think it's ever as effective as one-on-one or even group coaching is, but that's certainly an option I've seen on your website. I would just encourage people to start with the quiz. I've been through the quiz. You get a wonderful resource at the end. I can't remember what it's called. 5
ways to be brave.
5 ways to be brave.
Yes.
Yeah. So just little tricks, little tips for you. So you get a free resource when you take the quiz, or you can hop right on the link that takes you to a discovery call. So just a time to chat. Those are always my favorite, just because I like to look people in the eyeball. Right.
I do too. I think that there is something to be said for that, for sure. And there's definitely just making that connection.
Yes, that's exactly how we started, on a discovery call, saying, hey, you had this vision or this dream for this book, and somewhere along the line, you built this wonderful business around a desire to make a difference. And I think it's inspiring and beautiful, and I am so honored to be a part of what you're doing, my friend.
Well, I'm so honored to have you working by my side. And so I highly recommend that if anybody is on the fence or they're intimidated, which is what I was when we first began working together, is how I have these ideas, I had my story, but how do you do it? It's such an overwhelming feeling. And I think people don't realize the benefit until you're in it, of just having somebody that does this day in and day out, and just makes it that much easier. It's, I don't know, I can't say enough about it, because that was my whole process working with you initially. And I really think that's what led to confidence in other things. Once you achieve one of your goals, you're like, I did it. You know what I mean? And I did it because I had somebody that could walk me through the process. It was something that was not in my wheelhouse. And so it's always, again, it's make the investment. I would really highly recommend people make the investment of whatever that is, that thing that you want to do, or you feel like that's holding you back. I can't recommend that enough.
I totally agree. Whatever it is you're trying to accomplish with a book, it's because there's a system in place, right? It was a systemized, and then someone to help you through the process. And that's the same thing that you're offering. You have a system, right, to help people get past the anxiety and the fear, and to truly be courageous, be fearless, step into there. I love that you say, fear is, common, right?
But fear is normal.
Yeah, it's normal.
Fear is normal, but courage gets the final say.
Courage gets the final say. So you helping people to just take that step and be courageous. Sometimes you have to hold somebody's hand when you step into courage in that way. And I love that you're offering that. We are out of time, my friend, but thank you so much for taking some time to be with us and talk about this new journey. Any last things you'd like to say to our guests before you hop off?
Just if anybody is looking for some free resources, maybe you're still on the fence, you're not really sure, you can always hop over to my website, sign up there. It's just a name and email, and then you'll have access to lots of free resources. The quiz will also put you on that list. That'll just give you the one, but if you want to sign up, you can get a multitude of free resources to just kind of help get the ball rolling.
Yeah, very nice. So I'm going to spell Debrucque, because if you forget the C, you won't find her website. Occasionally I do that. I'm like, why isn't this working? It's because I forgot the C. So, all right, my friend, thank you so much. I know that we'll be chatting again soon as we work on other projects, but thank you so much for your time, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you.
All righty, take care. She is wonderful. I have so much enjoyed working through this journey with her. It started as a book, but it became so much more than a book. it became a whole business. She's helped hundreds of people to overcome their fear and anxiety, and now she's stepped into a whole new role where she's working one-on-one, coaching people, and truly making a difference in the lives of people around her, and I just love that. If you're at all interested, hop on over and just book a discovery call with her and just see if you can't get some, just connect with her and get some quick value. Okay, before we're totally out of time today, I of course have to say, if you are ready to take that step and get your book out of your head and get it published, or maybe like Amy, you dream of something bigger, but it's going to start with a book, or the book is foundational to it, hop on over to my website, clararose.com, and let me know. Hop on my calendar. I'd love to have a discovery call with you and talk about getting started on your journey. Of course, every week right here, we talk about the 3 phases of book creation, and the most common thing that I can help people start out with is some strategy. So you can also drop me an email at hello@clararose.com if you'd like to just chat with me by email. Hop on my calendar, we'll have a discovery call, or you can hop on the waiting list, clararose.com/waitlist. Not waiting list, wait list. And you will get a quick email from me saying, thanks for being on the wait list. Next time, the Savvy Author program, mentoring program is open. We will send you a quick email. I promise I'm not going to send you a bunch of stuff or spam you with anything. It's just to let you know when the course opens back up. I usually do a group coaching a couple of times a year to small groups of people who say, yes, I am ready to take that next step and get my book done out of my head. Of course, if you want the one-on-one coaching, I'm happy to do that with you as well. We will chat on a call. All right, my friends, I hope that you're having a wonderful week. Next week is a holiday, so you won't see us next week with the Thanksgiving holiday. But the following week, we will be right back here talking about the 3 phases of book creation. I want to make a difference in your journey as you build whatever it is that you dream of building, as you create that book that is going to make a difference in the world, as you build that business, whatever it is you dream of doing in the literary world that I can help you with. I want to be a part of that journey. If nothing else, take the time to drop me an email to hello@clararose.com and say, hey, Clara, I'm a regular watcher of the show and I have a question. I would be happy to cover whatever that is on an episode of the show. You can also leave me your name and your business if you have a business, and I can give you a shout out on the show. Always looking for new content for the show. And if you're an author, not even just one of mine, you'd like to be on the show, give me an email as well. All right, we are out of time, my friend. I will see you the same time, same place in 2 weeks. Take care.